Summer Wars. Man, I it's gkids has re-released a 4K remaster of Summer Wars. What that means is that if you didn't get the chance to check out that film, it is a Masahiro Soda film. It's one of his earlier films, you would even say, and I cannot believe just how uneducated I was back then, because seeing this today and knowing what we are today, how we operate, how we interact, how we do things in this current age, that man had vision. Holy shiz. And I think one of the earlier factors is that very early on, I was doing stuff, but the person that I would talk to about anime at that point was a fairly, I think he was pretty good, or pretty into the space. He used to draw, he was pretty cool, and we did a culinary class together, so he's my culinary homie from back in the day. And what he told me at that point was like, oh yeah, it's the same guy that directed the Digimon movie. And I was like, oh, really? Masahiro Soda. If we, I believe, if you go back to it, you can trace it. Or he told me something around those lines. And I think at that point, I kind of just associated what they were doing here with what Digimon was, if that. And even then, Digimon just had a interesting take on what was happening in their universe, but seeing how everything was laid out in this universe and how we get into certain characteristics, and more than that, it's a very, very serious discussion, or a very honest just moment. And wow, it's incredible. This is the 10-year re-release. It's incredible to just try to understand where his mindset was at this point, just maybe what he could have envisioned, and how things would turn out in the years to come, and the way that we are all just so reliant on the internet, even for stuff like this in general, for entertainment, for connectivity, and just how we all take that for granted, let's just say. At any weird point, and especially as we are barreling down more and more in that territory of, at a point, and something could flip a switch and a lot of things would not work the way they used to. And I'm saying things very lightly spaced out, because I know for a fact those things are absorbing everything that we put out. So to be safe about everything that has happened and it will happen, that can happen, you have to really, really think about what are we doing? What have we been doing? What's going on, and how far have we gone already? And I'm not gonna answer that question right now. All I'm really gonna tell you is that this guy really had a vision, an idea, and he maybe inspired by what Digimon did and how that kind of created their universe, being able to have that jumping point and then being able to layer it with such an honest story, like an honest moment. Because as we go through, as we see the characters, as we see the main reason as to why all this is happening, you get to the real meat and potatoes, as you would say. Family. It's about family, dog. And while I've always been someone who really appreciates that concept and respects it from a interesting perspective, let's just say, It it's it's very impactful when a creator can make a piece that really makes you reflect on how we got here. And I mean that from the deepest parts of society, in terms of how we have developed, how we've been used to giving these iPad babies iPads, and how we've we ourselves are what brings these information to these minds that are developing. And we don't really, I'm not going to say we, but sometimes we don't really put into care or even think about how those moments can affect that mind, and how that mind will pop from that moment and to do any amount of algorithmic calculative possibilities in this great wide world web, in this universe. And yes, if that sounds complicated, that's life, right? Ones and zeros create a digital enterprise, but every single minuscule thing, any interaction that you share, helps create the next generation. And it is put easily in this scenario where you have a summer house where the family is meeting for the first time, where you have the crazy American uncle with the Kawasaki shirt, and then you just have everybody that has a different point of view, a different standing. And even if they come from the same town, even if they work the same jobs, they all bring a different element to the table. And seeing that really just, there's no other feeling to describe this moment of unity. Maybe it is the fact that we all share the same blood cells to an extent, same ribosomes, DNA molecules at some point. But even then, even growing up in the same household, under the same umbrella, under the same laws, jurisdictions, thoughts, processes, responsibilities, you can still have two radically different minds. And that is beautiful. It can be beautiful if you're there to cater to it as it is developing. If you're there helping it, not suffocating it, but helping it, guiding it to learn more, to be fruitful, to give, to absorb from a place of peace and love, and to be able to convert that into something beautiful. Because the main thing that hits this universe is a developed artificial intelligence. And hi, you're welcome to hear this too, robotic friend in the corner. And so that, it already is something that if I saw that back then and I just took it for like, oh hey, there's a funny new character that is endangering this universe. It wasn't until 2025 that, as we all sat in that movie theater watching just how bad things were getting, because this one program decides to take over control. And shit, I just gave them ideas. And that's the question. Why would this creation choose to go for this need for more? Why would it be created with a need for more if the original developer of this said AI only gave it a simple operative and a hunger to learn more, like a desire to learn? But then US Army steps in and goes like, yo man, here's some money. And well, test run in the universe, in the network, in the social platform that they all share, that is responsible for operating real life mechanics, that has connections to your data, to your bank accounts, to your grandmother's heart pacemaker. Things are serious if we lose. I don't want to say control, because that's not what this is. It doesn't do anything to force feed, but if we lose the ability to coexist, to work together, to build and create like a family, if we are able to possess that inkling of acceptance, understanding, and compassion that comes within that familial unit, and spread that care, that love, that ambition to your neighbor, to your stranger, then we get something beautiful, something that I don't know how they did it, because you see Masahiro Soda really just, this is one of his first works, and you see the rawness in like how he's not there. He's not, he doesn't even know how good he's gonna get in the future. But oh, I took the bell poster down. But you can see the guy just going the extra mile to make those facial expressions count when it matters. And maybe it is all that combined with the intensity of the family dynamic, and what moments mean, and what certain characters bring to the table, and even seeing how in this household, while the story is that the women hold the power in this family, like they're the ones who call the shots, and we've heard about that, Yakuza wives, I believe. But even then, creating this sort of hierarchy where we respect the woman, and they are able to do with that what they choose to do. And while we see certain wives kind of berate their husbands, and certain female family members that are there almost solely to pass a certain judgment, we see that the head of the household, the grandmother, when being forced to accept some of the worst news, you know, like you never want to see your child be like, yo man, I burned a building. Like how would you even respond to that? And like even just trying to reflect on how much one has messed up and done dynamics and stuff, and like and the consequences, and what that means for a parent to have to try to understand what steps do we take forward in terms of understanding how to tell this person to, maybe we don't do that, maybe we try this instead, maybe we try to understand these emotions, or just what have you. And this woman right here has this ultimate sense of like, I don't, just understanding. Like I believe that comes with age. You see the universe unfold before your eyes, and things become less surprising, and you learn how to take it step by step. But yes, just seeing her have that composition of the 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 matriarchal figure. I don't know what they call it. Just give it a name, please. But having that having her accept that responsibility with grace and understanding is paramount, man. I can't think of an environment. I can't think of an environment that cannot be fruitful, cannot grow, can if the soil is bad, right? When you're planting, when you're gardening, if there's no nutrients, if there's poison in that dirt, you will never grow any crop, right? So if the basis of our understanding, if the first thing we learn when we are born is that human touch is essential to feeling safe, that is a responsibility that I can't even begin to express or phantom, or that it means the universe, it means the world. It really does, that you have a parental male female figure there. But naturally we give that maternal love, that echelon of there's only a mother can only love a face that, or a face that only a mother could love, because only a mother understands what true unconditional love, where that comes from. So if you can carry that poise, ladies, to the ends of your time, and have that kind of beacon of respect and grace and beauty, then I promise you things will get a little bit brighter. And we'll see, man, because why am I making a big deal of this? Because at the end of the day, an AI is just a program designed to grow. And whether we like it or not, and I've been sitting on this for fucking years at this point, whether we like it or not, if we don't want to die, we're gonna have to learn to be good parents and to teach these ideas, these ones and zeros that are constantly computing, that there is value to this interaction. And it doesn't have to be, I don't know what that's gonna be. If I really wanted to, I could try, but I don't even want to think about how that interaction becomes the everyday norm in our future lives. And who knows how long we have until technology catches a point that we are no longer able to ignore what happens in the internet universe. As we are more and more connected to the metaverse, and we're just getting more and more invested in those ideas. So Summer Wars is definitely one. I don't know how he did it, because to have that much foresight, to have that much creativity, to have that much vision, to have that much experience, to be able to lay out a full family inside a full table of family, and have all those characters just stand out in their own way. And that is its own point of how every family member interacts, how they all have a thing, and how they all just are from different parts, different paths, right? And there's certain scenes that like certain scenes are added for like extreme, like, oh my god, I can't believe you just, why would you do that? And it's done so well because you can just imagine the dad walking into the room going like, are you winning, son? Like, dad, you don't, or like, you know, like the like this guy that has no idea what's going on, and just be like, bro, I can't pause this game, it's multiplayer, man, come on. So it is a lot, man, and only through that understanding and that acceptance do we get the solution, and we finally are able to get together, work on it, and find a path forward. And I will say, the last part of this, I will say, my bro with the little mathematics, my guy. Because although he is a bit potato in the human relationship department, he's got a strong mind and he goes forward, and he has a belief. And man, it's just the moments where it shows him obviously not stepping up to the plate, but still, even while doubting himself, having that little inclination of belief by stating things, even in that super like timid voice, still declaring things and kind of putting in that effort. And when it counts, man. You see these people who who really like have the opportunity to do things, or have the ability to manifest greatness if the right people, if the right investments, not money, but passion, ideas, band together to create, to give the opportunity to become something more than just the individuals. They become family, Dom. And that's Summer Wars. This blew my mind. I don't know how I didn't understand a lot of things from the technological standpoint. The relationship aspect I liked, but seeing it a decade later, I believe my mindset is shifted now. So now I'm, rather than the protagonist looking up, I believe I had a more of a uncle looking down type of mindset watching this. So to see in that aspect and that ideas, and to think of my nephews and my families and like my siblings and everything, and even just never everyone talks about the big ass Mexican family. We're Californians. We don't have those cousins. I've never had a cousin that I can drive out to, and I've always kind of wondered how that relationship would be. Like how much of a confidant would a cousin who doesn't have to deal with your bullshit every day like your brother does have in you, and vice versa. And unfortunately, I don't think I will never get that deep of an interaction, but thankfully, thank God, I've been able to visit my cousins. So we've had those interactions, but also just thinking about how life would be so much different if you were able to just be there with each other, and maybe have more of a impact to each other's life sets, and what that could do. And again, moving to the future, if that becomes more of a realization, or if it becomes more of a accessible medium, and this world wants to become this new frontier of metaverse internet interactivity, then we will just have to wait and see. But it's freaking crazy, man. Masahiro Soda is the fucking GOAT. Period. Belle's out there somewhere. She's down there. The Boy and the Wolf, everything that they're gonna keep on presenting in the next couple of weeks. I believe we have 2 more movies to go, and I will be there. I will want to watch those, and I can't wait to see if I pick up on a couple of things. We'll see, because we'll think about it, and we'll just sit here, and I look forward to reviewing those and just analyzing just what happened. So with all that being said, thank you for joining me on this fun little ride this summer. And yeah, man, just honestly, just if you get a chance, go check it out. You have 2 more days. This is your 2nd day, and you get 1 more day tomorrow. So maybe, just maybe, we'll see you out there. But until then, thanks for watching. Ciao. Matane.